back and think about, some of you see me posted on Facebook, and if you don't know me at all, just tell you that 7 years ago, around this time, I lost my brother Paul to cancer, and he was 43 years old. And I'll tell you the short version of this, but Paul was my original sponsor into the industry when I happened to come back from a deployment in the military, and he signed me up for something, didn't even tell me, just signed me up, typical brother, and said, hey, we're going to go make some money. I thought, okay, cool. But that really changed my life because he introduced me to something. And I always tell people, don't ever do anything but thank somebody who introduces something to you, because you never know. It's in somebody, we all have friends. They're like, oh my gosh, they're going to pitch me this. They're going to sell me this. Let them. This is how the world goes round. You got to get excited about people that have opportunities out there. It doesn't mean you have to join them, but at least listen and take a look. So I did that because he's my brother, and it changed my life because I learned personal growth. And part of his journey, I just want to share this. It's a fascinating story. It's a powerful story. It's an important story for people to hear. And let me preface it with this. He passed away in 2013. It is now 2020. Since he died, since he passed away, his widow, Karen, his wife, has earned over $2 million in commissions since 2013. I want you to let that sink in tonight. This is a very important message. Now, the second part of this, I want you to know that my brother joined that company in 1993. Okay? You're talking nearly 27 years ago. So when you think of residual income, a lot of people, it's a misconception. They're like, okay, well, I want to go out and make some extra money. Residual income is no different than trading time and hours to get a paycheck, which we do in a job. But with residual income, you trade time, you trade hours, and you get paid again and again and again. So my brother had built up a residual income that he started in 1993. Unfortunately, he passed away from cancer in 2013, 20 years later. And since he passed, over $2 million has been paid out in commissions from that business and growing. That's the power of residual income. So when people say, well, you know what, I'm not sure if that can happen for me. Let me tell you about my brother, Paul, and he would really appreciate this. Paul was the most average guy you ever met, just like me. He barely graduated high school. He didn't want to go to college. I went to college and dropped out. We kind of had a similar, we both went to the military because we needed something to go out and do. We wanted to feel accomplished, and we both got involved in the network marketing industry at a young age. But, Paul did exactly what you do when you make a decision and you make a commitment to build a business, and he stuck it out. So I can tell you, because I worked with my brother for so many years, and I was so proud of him. He just kept going and going. He had the ups and downs like we all do. He had some good months and bad months. He had some good years and bad years, but, he just kept going. He made a commitment and he kept building his business. One of my brother's dreams is that he wanted to have property that he could just camp. He could hunt, he could fish, he could take his kids and family and just enjoy life. He worked really hard to get that property, married his dream girl, and had the most amazing years of his life, married to Karen, doing what they wanted because they had time and financial freedom. And let me make a bold statement to you. You don't need to make millions of dollars to have time and financial freedom. Don't let people fool you. I see it all the time. They got to drive a Lamborghini. They got to do this. That's crazy. Okay? You can build wealth for you and your family by building residual income, having multiple streams of income. And over time, it's going to compound. And over time, it's going to become extremely powerful. I've lost some good friends like many of you over the years. And I've watched some of my friends that passed away that had a job. And I watched their jobs get replaced in 30 days. I watched their severance run out in 6 months. So to me, when I look at residual income, you got to ask yourself, somebody's introducing you to an opportunity. And I love sharing my brother's story because it kind of covers each end of it. It doesn't happen overnight. You got to put your time and commitment in. You got to work hard. In fact, I remember it was about 2003, 2004. My brother got really frustrated with the business. And I started to turn him on to personal growth. We'd have these, what I call Jim Rohn masterminds. And I used to drive him nuts. In fact, I talked him into going to a spiritual retreat in Billings, Montana, which was actually the main event was in Big Sky, Montana. And the featured speaker was Jim Rohn and William E. Bailey. Okay, two great legends of personal growth in our industry. The beauty of this trip was it was an awesome trip, but Paul met Bill Bailey, and that absolutely changed his life. So that's another lesson in this story, that personal growth is so important. Okay. And a lot of people, they eventually learn that your income will seldom exceed your personal growth. So you have to grow as a person. It's like, Jim would say, if you want things to change, you have to change. When somebody jumps on a